Welcome back to the Dynamic Duo podcast. Today, we're going to talk about mindfulness in leadership. Because great leaders don't just react to situations, they navigate challenges with awareness, balance, and purpose. And something that can help them with it is the 4 P's of mindfulness in leadership. If you don't know what those 4 P's are, stay tuned because we're going to dive in deeper in this episode.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Dynamic Duo podcast. It's been a long time. We had a long pause, but we are glad to be back. Anja, good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
It's been a long time, but looking forward to our chat today. Going to be an interesting topic. I know we are talking about leadership superpowers for those of you who do not know who we are. And if this is the first time, take a look at our timeline. And we began this year a new series, the leadership superpowers. This will be our fourth, right, Anja?
I think so, yeah.
I think this is our fourth leadership superpower. So stay tuned. Send your questions, anything that is interesting to you. If you have tips, if you have suggestions for us, write those in the comment section. Of course, all of our social media accounts will be also included in the description box. We would love to interact with you. All right, Anja, today, what is our topic today? Let me get my notes out. Oh, mindfulness.
Yes.
Mindfulness. That's a great topic. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Yeah, today we're going to talk about mindfulness in leadership. So imagine this. You're in a meeting, sharing your idea. You've put a lot of thought in it. You're prepared. You're ready to share it. But as you speak, you realize that the leader of your team always watches at his phone or looks at other things, nods a little bit and says, yeah, I got it. But you realize that he's not really or she's not really present in the moment. How does that make you feel? Probably not very good. You probably feel unheard and unimportant, and it's just not motivating for you. So now imagine the opposite. A leader that makes contact, listens to you, asks questions that indicate to you that he understands and he listens, or she, of course, who's curious and you just realize that person is really with you in this room. The person is not somewhere else in their minds, but on the topic. That is exactly the difference between a good leader and a great leader. Great leaders don't just manage tasks, they connect with people. And they understand that presence isn't just about being there physically, but it's about truly showing up, listening deeply, and responding with intention. In today's world, we're constantly distracted with things, so this is a powerful skill to have. And this is where mindful leadership comes in. It's through practices like active listening, thoughtful reflection, and effective communication. Leaders create an environment where their team really feels valued and inspired. So one thing I want to share today about mindful leadership that you might be able to take with you is the 4 P's of mindfulness in leadership. It's presence, pacing, prioritizing, and pivoting. This offers a framework for leaders, and also if you're a team member, this is also very important for you. It's for any person. It can be very valuable because it helps you with clarity and balance. So what are the 4 P's? Let's dive a little bit deeper. Presence is about staying engaged and focused. It's what I described in the intro before in
Mm,
this imagine. Um, it's about making eye contact, giving your full attention during conversations, listening to understand and not just to respond. This is it's a mental and emotional presence. It's not about just being in the room with someone. And this is really important, and you can practice it with your team members. Like I said, make eye contact, to put away all your distractions. Um, don't have your phone right next to you or have it ring all the time, especially not in meetings. And you can also use mindfulness practices or techniques like before or after a meeting, or Brandon Burchard said that he does something every time that he switches the room or the environment, so he gets prepared. So he takes a moment to breathe, to let go of what was. In, let's say you go from meeting to meeting, you take 5 minutes just to breathe, to let go. Okay, that meeting was gone, and to prepare for the next one. That could help you being fully present in any meeting you are in. Then the second P is pacing. This is about managing energy and stress levels. And this is so important as well for your personal life, but also if you're a team leader, to manage energy and stress levels of your team,
mm,
that you're um, aware of the stress levels of your team members, and that you're able to react if the stress level goes too high. But also, it's important for every person. I mean, you can't manage stress levels from other people if you're not first doing it yourself. So you have to recognize your own personal energy rhythms, um, and you have to prioritize breaks to reset your mind. You have to learn how or what the indicators of your body are to stress. I realize it if I'm stressed, I realize my heart goes pumps a little bit
mm,
faster and more intensely. So I realize, okay, my energy or my stress level goes up, and
right.
then I can react to that. But if you don't realize how stress looks for you, you can't manage it. And
Mm,
also look at signs of your team members. If someone is like gets lost a lot when they're stressed and is just anywhere, then when you are close to your team, you realize, okay, that's their stress now.
mm,
Then you can go in and manage that, and ask them, what can we do? Is your workload too big? Is there anything else we can do to help you? Um, yeah, that's really important also
mm,
to manage. And then prioritizing, focus on what truly matters. I think that's clear for anybody, or it's something that we realize when we're in a work environment for a longer time. Not everything is important and urgent.
mm,
Urgent. Sometimes it's important but not urgent. Sometimes it's urgent but not really important.
mm,
That's the Eisenhower matrix, right?
right.
Urgent, important, what is it? You can use that matrix to categorize tasks, or also there are so many practices for prioritizing. Use them and learn how to say no to things. Learn how to prioritize your workload. And also, if you realize that one of your team members is not really good at saying no or at prioritizing, help them, give them tools, teach them, go into coaching mode and show them how they can do it.
Mhm,
Schedule the work with them, or the week with them, and tell them show them how they can prioritize their tasks, and also um, give them permission to say no, because sometimes, especially if you have team members who want to do the best out of their job, who want to give everything, they don't realize when they should say no. So if
Mm,
that happens, give them the yeah, tell them that they're allowed to say no and that it's fine and that it's important,
mm,
not only for the company, but also for themselves. Because if they just burn out because they can't say no, that doesn't help anybody, not the person, not you, not the company. So,
mm,
and sometimes it's important for team members to hear that the boss is like, say no to those things, because sometimes they feel like they can't do this because they want to do good work.
right.
And then the last one is pivoting. Um, if you've been in a leadership position or if you've lived long enough, you know that change is constant. Things happen, unexpected things happen, challenges arise. Maybe you've managed the whole week and you planned it all out, so it works great, and then one of your team members is sick. You have to you have to learn to react. Don't change the goal, but you have to learn to be flexible and move through those challenges and
Mm,
changes. And one of the things you can learn to do this, or you can embrace this, is embrace a growth mindset. A growth mindset is when you see everything as a learning opportunity. You don't see it as a fixed, you're not like, oh no, this is a challenge we can't face, but okay, new challenge. How can we learn out of this? How can we go through this? So, this is a good thing. And also stay open to feedback and stay
mm,
open um, to other perspectives from other team members, because sometimes your team member might have an idea that you haven't thought of. So, that's also one thing. So those are the four P's. I think it's for me, those four P's really came to life for the past few months. So I really can say out of personal experience that in leadership you better learn to deal with those four P's, because I mean, change happens. I can assure you that. People get sick, especially in our environment now when it's still cold, but it gets warmer, and yeah, it just happens.
right, right.
Yeah, and sometimes you have a lot of work, and I mean, I failed in the stress part a lot of times, but I've learned a lot through failing in these times when I was stressed. And
Mm,
I think that's also something very important to realize. You don't have to be perfect,
mm,
um, but learn from every time when you get sick because you've overworked yourself and you lay flat for a week. Take this time to think back, where did I go wrong? What signs did I miss or did I overgo?
mm,
So yeah, those are the four P's, and something I think is very helpful to be mindful in your leadership journey. But also, as I said, it's also very important if you're part of a team. Um, Sometimes we can give feedback to other team members. Sometimes we have to give ourselves feedback in these parts. Yeah,
mm. The four P's. I like that.
yeah. I saw it and I thought, oh, that looks. I read about it and I thought that's just I like this.
Did you
I
find it
like
in a book
I
or
found it
online?
in an article I wrote.
Okay,
I wrote read.
read.
Not
Hmm.
wrote.
All right.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. I saw this. I was listening to you and I was thinking about some things that I have experienced regarding people that are not really present,
Oh yeah.
not really engaged.
Yeah.
I once confronted somebody. So like, we were in on a conference and and during a meeting, a team meeting, where we were dealing with, you know, official stuff. He
Hmm.
was busy with social media and so on and so forth. Right. So my question for him was like, why do you do that? And so like, because I can. That was that. And of course, I mean, how can you argue with that?
Yeah.
But I guess he missed the point. Like, okay, this is the room where we are supposed to be. These are the people where that you are supposed to be busy with. Not,
Yeah.
but yeah, of course, people can. It's available. It's there. And
Exactly. I think that's the one of the reasons why it's so hard nowadays because you have
mm,
so many distractions and you
mm,
can get distracted so easily. And I think it takes really you have to do it intentionally. You can't just you can't just have your phone next to you all the time and then
mm,
because once it's just we're human beings. If that blinks up and you see that a message came in, you are, I mean, you just do this.
mm,
It's just natural. And just this can mean for someone else, can mean like, oh, you're not really interested in me. Even though it's not, I mean, it's human and it's
mm.
not, but
Yeah.
it's just if you put that phone away, I learned that from Simon Sinek, and
Mm,
it's so important. And I do it in everyday situations where I
mm-hmm,
try not to have my phone out. And when I realize a message came out and I see it, I put it away
mm-hmm,
because I realize I'm distracted, and then I
mm-hmm,
put it away immediately. Because
mm,
also when you're with your family members, I when I was younger, my dad didn't want us to have our phones at the dinner table.
mm-hmm.
And I didn't understand it at that point of time, but now I understand what he
Yeah.
meant. It
Right.
was time that we had as a family, and that was valuable time. And I didn't have to, as a teenager, you think, why can't I just, I want to be with my friends now.
Right.
But when you look back as you grow older, you realize how valuable those times were when you had um, those family dinners and how sad it is that you take away from this rich, um, valuable thing because you're distracted by
Mm.
your phone.
Right. And how important you used well first I can testify to that. Sometimes I write a message to Anja and she takes her time to answer back. So I know she is congruent with that. So I appreciate that. But at the same time it's very nice because um, that's what we do at home here with our kids. Mobile phone is prohibited at the dinner table. That or even when we go for short drives in the car.
Mhm.
So like that's a little harder to enforce.
Yeah,
But if we are together in a close environment for a short period of time, as a courtesy, it's like, hey, well, if you're driving, you cannot look in the eye, but let us chat, let us talk with each other, let us find out how a day was or whatever.
yeah,
Right.
exactly.
It's different if you go for a long drive, right? I mean,
Yeah,
only you can only talk so much in a car, but it has to be intentional. I mean, you had to really recover the conversation, that human part that sometimes is taken away from because of the screens
yeah,
and social media and whatnot. So, but it has to be really a conscious decision, which brings me to my next question, because really, as a leadership superpower, this is so important. And I have experienced that too. As a leader, I caught myself there as I was listening to you, but I have experienced that from people that have led me in life, right? I mean, well, it really a mix of the four P's. I mean, I'm thinking about presence, and I'm talking about prioritizing, but maybe more presence than anything else in this case, because uh, whether you are sharing the results of your investigation or your project or the update or whatever, right? I mean, you are um, giving that or giving a report or whatever, and you can see it almost through in their eyes. They are not listening to you, so they are already thinking about something they're going to tell you back, without taking you seriously first. um, and that's to find that balance is important, I believe, because of course a leader is there because he or she knows the way and has the most experience, although not he is not always the most intelligent or the most experienced person in a particular area, right? So it's always bothersome for me, when when they are not present, they are not listening to you first before giving the feedback or giving you their opinion.
Yes, I mean I think it's I think everybody has experienced that talk you feel like you talk at a wall. And it's like, yeah, it's just um I think that the biggest problem with that is that your people don't feel valued,
Mm,
and they don't feel like their opinion or their thoughts matter.
right.
And I mean, when you're a leader um, who's never present, then how do you expect your team to be present, to give everything? I mean, it's just you can't expect your team to be on their top game
Mm,
when you as their leader don't take them seriously.
hmm.
And that for me, that's it. I mean, for me, when I talk about presence or not being present, that makes a difference. I've had bosses that were not present, and you realize that in their evaluation of your work. I mean, you see
Mm.
it and you feel like you don't really get me, right?
Right, right.
You don't see me.
I'm a
And
number.
yeah, and I've had bosses who were like, um, that was crazy. I mean, I
Mm,
felt hurt,
mm,
heard,
hmm.
not hurt, hurt,
Heard, yeah.
um, before I even spoke.
Right.
And that's something that is so valuable because it makes the team so much stronger and the team trusts you.
Right.
Had bosses that I've trusted with everything. I never even questioned their because
Mm,
I knew they cared, first of all. They
mm,
were there. They were listening, they were close to us. It's also a room the how the rooms are, how do you
organized.
organized, thank you. That makes a difference
Oh yeah.
if you're a boss and or leader, team leader, and you're very far away from the team,
Right.
don't really feel if people are stressed. You don't really hear when they're stressed. If you're close, like you're next door and your door is open and their door is open,
Right.
you can hear the conversations. You can hear when they run through the
Right.
office or wherever they are. If
Mm,
you're, it's also that is also something that I think is very important, that you organize your team or you organize the environment also, that you're close, that you can be present, that when you're there, you're present.
hmm.
And it's not even a thing of only in meetings, right?
Right.
It's also, do you go say good morning? How
Mm,
was your weekend on Monday morning? Or ask the team members if their vacation was nice when they come back. Um, or that you tell them that they were missed, like
mm,
they make a difference in this team. Those
mm.
make the team feel valued, and that makes a huge difference in the culture and also in performance.
The other thing that you mentioned that which is very interesting is regarding pacing and the ability to manage your own emotions, your own stress levels and energy. Um, it's very interesting because when you are in a reactive mode, whether it, there are things that influence or that have influence in our lives, right? I mean, even if the night before we didn't sleep well, or
Mhm.
maybe we didn't eat breakfast, or there's too much traffic on the way to work. I don't know, or maybe you have issues at home or whatever, right? So everybody's loaded with different situations in life, and I think that when things are out of control, I mean, when we are in a reactive mode, better said, that's like the straw that broke the camel's back. I guess what I'm going with this is that we have to be proactive, think ahead of time before we get to those levels. So my question for you is, um, do you have any tips? How can we do that?
Yeah, I think there are physical signs.
Mhm.
And I think that's what I said about like for me, it starts pumping.
Mm,
And also realize that I get into a do it mood. Like I just get everything done.
mhm,
And it's not healthy because I just run through it. And when I realize that, I have to stop. And I think that's different for everybody. I mean, not
mhm,
everybody feels it in their heart or like the heart starts.
mm,
If we're stressed a lot of time, probably adrenaline comes. So that might be something that other people also experience. But what are those signs? You have to figure out what are your signs. Do you start to get angry with the little things, or I don't know. There are so many signs.
mm.
Always when it crashes, when something big happens, there were signs before. And you have
Right.
to figure out what are the first signs of me doing this. And also maybe you can do it proactively by scheduling time blockers. I started doing this because it stresses me out when every night of the week is planned.
Mhm.
So I put in blockers that are just, I have a meeting with myself.
And how much time do you dedicate to yourself in those blocks?
It's just an evening for me.
Oh, I see. So like an evening, for example.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
So I don't schedule time or
Hmm.
do something with friends,
Hmm.
even though those things are important. I need at least one evening for myself.
Can
Otherwise,
can we do that do a mini block during the day to help us bring balance to our life?
of course. I mean, that's also something that's different for everybody. I started going for a walk after lunchtime.
Oh.
It's just sometimes it's just 5 minutes around the block.
Hmm. Hmm.
It just it's something. I go outside, I have fresh air because I realized I have a lot of headaches in the
Hmm.
afternoon.
Hmm.
So I go outside. I think the fresh air helps a lot.
Hmm.
Also, I mean, breaks are so important.
Mm.
The thing that showed me, or when I read it, I was like, oh, yeah, of course, about the importance of breaks is just think about when you forget a name or something.
Mm.
And you think about, "Ah, I know this name. I don't remember. Why do I not remember
What
this?"
was the
Then
name?
you go take a shower, or you start cleaning something, or I don't know what. And then
Take a
suddenly,
nap.
like, that was the name.
Right, right.
That shows the importance of breaks. So yes, if you put in like 15-minute blocks, 10-minute blocks, just for you, that can make a lot of difference in
Yeah.
everything because also you can just take that time to breathe and be like, okay. And sometimes for some people, it's also they're a little bit sensitive about
Mm.
visual things. So maybe it would help to close your eyes, or other
Mm.
people, maybe noise canceling.
Mm.
headphones would help you because you're sensitive to sound, and it's just those things can help. We don't realize how many or how crazy our ears and eyes are working and
Right.
all in our brain.
Right.
And we think, why am I tired in the evening? I didn't do as much as I used to,
Mhm.
but your eyes work all the time too, and your ears too. So those are also things you can try out.
Yeah, we are overstimulated, with so many things happening around us,
Mhm.
noise, sound, color, and this and that. And yeah, people. Yeah, that's great. Which brings me to my last question, and that has to do with prioritizing. I guess we have to prioritize taking care of ourselves, and be proactive, whether there's 5 minutes every now and then during the day after a meeting. You mentioned, who was that? After a
And for
meeting,
sure.
yeah, he took a little time to recalibrate,
Yes.
and prepare mentally for the next, and so on and so forth. Because it is true that and this is something that I have a hard time with, that uh, I'm a go-getter. So I once I start something, it's hard to stop,
Hmm.
which is good, and but at the same time not good,
Yeah.
because when I least expected, it's like 3-4 hours gone by, and maybe even longer. And in the process, we run the risk of not paying attention to other important things, such as family, our own health, or
Hmm.
another project. So I guess it has to be a real conscious priority to
Yes.
focus on what truly matters. And in that sense, I guess pacing, taking those blocks, I think it should be a priority, don't you think?
Yes. I think it's so important to prioritize your well-being and to be mindful what you need because it's different for everybody.
Right.
I talked about a few things that are personal to me, but everybody's different and
Mm,
your solutions could be completely different, but you have to learn about them, and that's mindfulness.
that's right. That's right. Well, of course, we just scratched the surface of this topic. Send us your questions and comments. We'll be happy to read them. With that, we will say goodbye today. And as always, we wish you all a successful and blessed day. Bye bye.